Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the Charleston AMA and broadcasting from our friends at Charleston Media Solutions Studios. Thanks to our awesome sponsors at CMS, we get to chat with the cool folks making waves in Charleston. From business and art to hospitality and tech, these movers and shakers choose to call the Lowcountry home. They live here, work here, and make a difference here. So what's their story? Let's find out together.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, powered by the Charleston American Marketing Association. We're coming to you live from the Charleston Media Solutions Studios. Massive thanks to them for supporting CAMA and the show. We've got to give a big thank you to our sponsor, the South Carolina Research Authority, for their annual sponsorship, plus King and Columbus for joining on as well. And, of course, a big what's up to my boy Jerry Feels Good for the beats. Got to get the beats in there.
The beats.
What I mean? Dude, Jerry rocked it at the Spark Gala. Kelly, were you at Spark?
No, I had to miss it. I had a work
gosh.
event this year. I know. I was very disappointed.
Kelly, say hi.
Hi, I'm Kelly Morse. I am the Director of Digital Communications at Trident United Way, and I'm excited to be on this side of the camera today instead of the one taking all the photos and content.
You do a great job.
Thank you.
Both positions, Kelly.
I appreciate it.
We are here with the one and only Sloan Newman. Say hello, Newman.
Hello.
Sloan is the author of The Relationship Revolution, Mastering One-to-One Account-Based Marketing, ABM Marketing Manager, NTT Data Inc., Forrester Marketing B2B, AMA, ICG, ISG Awards winner. That's a lot of acronyms that I have no idea what that means. Sloan, can you help me out?
I'd love to. Yeah. So let's take it bit by bit.
Literally, the note says, WTF does any of that mean?
A lot of letters.
A lot of letters, a lot of different things. But what it is that it's basically all of these are different certifications that we won from the business-to-business side for the work that we've done on what's called account-based marketing. Now, what is account-based marketing, you might ask? Well, that's where it gets fun because...
Hey, Sloan, what's account-based marketing?
Oh, I love that. Good question.
Great payout.
Before I go into that, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for both having me here today. It was a pleasure, and studio's lovely. And I know that, and I just appreciate this.
Of course.
I want to say thank you.
Make sure you talk into the microphone.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
Nobody's going to hear you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I gotta make sure I'm getting this all down for everybody for posterity. But yeah, so account-based marketing is this sort of newer area of marketing that came out in the last 20 years by some very smart people, much smarter than myself. And they created this idea that when you do marketing, instead of yelling into the void or being worried about leads at the top of the funnel that so many people in marketing sort of talk about. I mean, even your friend Elliot Friedman, who was here last time, was talking about his issues with marketing and getting those types of results. And instead of doing that, look down funnel, build relationships, reputation with what you can offer them, increase your footprint with that audience.
Sure.
And really learn to find a way to engage with your audience at a deeper level so that you have more long-term relationships as opposed to just looking at the short term. And it brings marketing into that component of the funnel where you actually are working arm in arm with the sales, the account teams, and actually seeing end to end how money is made, how the revenue is done, what the needs are for the account, and actually creating content, campaigns, and everything else that actually talks to those accounts by creating bespoke or white glove sort of engagement at different sort of levels. So there's 3 different levels in ABM, and we can get into that. But really what it is, it's about creating relationships.
I love that. I also like to create relationships. Kelly, didn't you do a photo shoot for Sloan not too long ago?
We did. We met up in James Island, took some headshots, had some really great conversations around your book and ABM, and also just really enjoyed learning a little bit about you. You're somewhat local to the Charleston area and kind of getting to chat more about kind of like that experience, how it's a little bit different when you grew up and you're from here versus there's a lot of us that are Cumbias.
Yeah, we're part of the problem, for sure. Yeah, what's your origin story, Sloan? You got an interesting one, that's for sure.
I mean, the best way to explain it is, I am as my uncle used to say, I'm a simple Southern boy. I grew up on a farm sort of area outside of Columbia, South Carolina, and all of my family is multiple generation South Carolinians, and we have been here since the Revolutionary War, and we didn't get very far. I grew up around all my cousins. Everybody next door and across the street were cousins, and one day I'll tell you a very fun story about how I found out that kissing cousins is a real thing, the problems with it. And
Matthew, our engineer, is like, wait, what? Are we relatives?
And so growing up in Columbia, about 20, 30 minutes away from Williams-Brice Stadium, University of South Carolina, where most of my family went.
All right.
I got it to College of Charleston after high school and went here and did my 4 years, learned a lot, loved the city, stayed for an extra couple of years, and then the Post and Courier. I worked at Royal Murdy downtown on Lower King.
Oh, okay.
Under Dave and Bob, and then Colleen Troy, who was my first mentor. Okay. Brilliant person. Then I went to South Carolina Federal Credit Union, where I did PR under Scott Blue, who I just ran into at our local gym last week.
Nice.
And then somewhere along the way, I realized I didn't know as much as I thought I did. So I decided to go back to grad school. And I got in with the help of Matthew Mogul from the Post and Courier, who is now still a friend of mine. He's in the D.C. area, but was a reporter for the financial side then.
Okay.
And I went to grad school in London and France and got my double master's, and then somehow went from that to staying in Europe for about 6 years.
Oh, hello.
And
as one does.
And then I had to make a decision whether or not I was going to become a European citizen or come back to America.
Oh.
And I decided to come back to America.
Wrong move. I'm just kidding, America.
There were choices that were made, things that were said that I, maybe would have done differently now. But yeah, so then I came back. My brother is a very smart person. He's out in Seattle, and he's a lifer of Microsoft, as I like to call him.
Oh, wow.
And he said, come out and get to know your nephews. And got on a plane, went out there, did a lot of different marketings for like service-based marketings, where I got an idea for what this was, right? I got this working with blue-collar guys. If you can go into a room with a bunch of blue-collar plumbers, HVAC specialists, home improvement specialists, and keep your footing against them, nothing will ever shake you.
Okay.
All right.
And so I did that for about 7 years. I actually have this amazing quote in the book where, like, one of the companies I worked for, like, in the first 3 years of Sloan coming on board, we tripled our annual revenue. And I'm like, I never knew that. I'm actually really good at this.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy,
That's a big step.
Oh, by the way, Sloan's an author.
Oh, yeah. And so,
Oh, yeah. But we'll get into that. Your origin story still is interesting. So when does Melissa come in?
Well, that's where I meet Melissa. Oh, so I get. Was
that the West Coast?
Yeah, we met in Seattle.
On the West Coast. Okay, I didn't know if you're from France or London.
You missed that whole time frame.
But no, I much like you I had a calling to run an AMA.
Oh, okay.
And
American Marketing Association.
And immediately.
Which chapter again?
The Puget Sound, or the Seattle chapter of the American Marketing Association. We call it the Puget Sound, but
I had to look that up.
Yeah, that's a local thing. But yeah, I had that role, and as you know, that's a 3-year role. So
yeah,
it's a long.
It's 6 years for me, but go ahead.
And so after I finished that role, that's when Melissa, my wife, and I met. And
she's a marketer.
She's a lot of things. She was a phenomenal sales lead, area sales lead, sales director type of position at Philips.
Okay.
She worked at Sonicare. We met, and she was on the marketing team there because she transitioned to their marketing team, creating large scale messaging. Oh. And we hit it off.
Okay.
And then she kidnapped me, and she's been with me ever since.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you came from the Puget Sound to Charleston.
Short stopover in California for about 2 years, but yeah, and then we came back to my wife. My wife came to see the College of Charleston, and she fell in love with the campus.
Wow!
How could you not?
And she said, and we said, "Where do you want to live?" And we said, "Well, we can live anywhere we want. I work remotely," and so she said, "Let's live in Charleston." So we live in Charleston.
How long ago was that?
2.5, 3 years ago.
That's not that long ago. No, that's great. That's great. Are you guys still in love with the city?
It's changed a lot, and it's a different city than what I left it. But
Sure.
I do.
Well, how many years ago? How many years were you gone?
Almost 2 decades.
So
Okay.
a lot of change.
I mean, I changed a lot in 2 decades.
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Max, you are engineers, and so do I. You're like 25. You better have changed a lot. Go ahead.
No, yeah, and so it's a very different city. I mean, I can go down the rabbit holes of all of the ways that the city has exploded in many ways.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. There's not a lot of the local people that I used to remember. A lot of them have moved out of the city and out of the peninsula area, but it's still
New Jersey moved in, and
New Jersey, Ohio, everybody moved in, and
Detroit. That's where I'm from. So, anyways,
yeah, exactly.
but the food and
the culinary options, there's so much more to do now than when I was here before, and there's so many more areas to explore now that are better connected than they were before. So that's a great thing, and that's a beautiful thing.
That's good. I mean, the Charleston's our love story, behind the scenes here. Marketing A, and then Charleston B, and the people, right? Like you and Kelly. Kelly, what were you taking photos of for?
We were taking headshot photos because Sloan has a new book that came out.
There we go.
Yes.
Talk about it.
The Relationship Revolution, Mastering One-to-One Account-Based Management. It is basically a 20-plus year experiential book about how this area of marketing has developed and what it looks like, and trying to get, standardization of naming and all those types of things, as well as education. And it also has a component that I was not aware of when I signed up with my publisher, that because it's an educational publishing group, that I had to create guides to teach people how to do what it is that I talk about in the book too. So there's actually additional materials that you get with the book, because it's meant to be an educational curriculum type of style of book, even though it's not written in that type of context.
Interesting. Okay.
How did you get started with even writing a book? Like, what kind of came to mind?
Right.
How did you kind of say, like, I should do that? And then what, like the publisher connection, all of that stuff?
I wish I could say I did. I did not. I shy away from this type of thing all the time, because Mike and I were talking earlier that there's a whole list of reasons why not to write a book, of which there is somewhere in the neighborhood of around something like over 1 million titles of books that 1 million books that come out every year.
Doesn't surprise me.
Which means a book comes out almost every 30 seconds.
That's wild.
Which means your attempt to actually write something that anybody will ever read, very, very small at that number. It's not what it was 20, 30 years ago, where you write a book and it's like one of, a handful. So there's a lot of that's intimidation about whether or not you want to actually do something like this. But at the same time, I actually was sitting down, and the work that I was doing, I was spearheading a lot of it, and I was doing a lot of it. And the reality was that a lot of people within my organization were not even seeing all of the work that was being done. Like, they were seeing the numbers that were coming in, because the reality is this type of marketing you actually can see how you move the needle. And that's one of the most impressive things about this type of marketing, is not just, I spent a decade and a half on the agency side before I came in-house, and I loved it. I loved the creativity. I loved all the work we did. But you only get this project for this little sliver of something, right? You stand up some amazing campaign and you get tons of generated press or eyeballs or engagement, but you never see what that leads to.
Right.
This type of marketing allows you to actually do that, but also see what happens afterwards. Follow up with it, connect with the account team, work with the account team, help them to close deals, get invited to quarterly business reviews with clients that marketers would never have had the opportunity to for. It gives you a seat with the audience that you have always wanted, but never been able to really grasp.
Sign me up.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was writing this sort of notes, this very long and detailed aspects of notes. And it was probably, I think, Christmas of about a year ago. And my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, and my wife said, you should turn this into a book. I said, no, I really shouldn't. I'm not good at this. So then I sat down and I started writing, and I've been published before. I was I had stuff published in high school. I had stuff published in college. Actually, my first national publication happened at College of Charleston.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, overnight nerdy success. Great time. So I have an idea of how to write, how to tell the story and things like that. And so began writing it. We went back to it. We came back to it. And after at some point I realized that I was somewhere in like over 150 pages in, and I'm like, this is a lot. And then again, my sister-in-law and my wife came to me and said, hey, you should think about finding if a publisher would actually publish this type of topic.
Uh-huh.
So I started researching. I said, all right, well, there's a couple of books about this topic that are out there. They're much more drier than what I've written, but they are very educational. And so I reached out to their publishers and then a handful of other publishers using AI, as you do, to help you identify who the best publishers could be.
Right.
And that gave me at least a list of people to potentially send out my manuscript to see if anybody would be interested.
Perfect.
Handful of those, and also a handful of, self-publishing groups as well, just to sort of see in case nothing came out of it.
Good.
And within about probably 10 to 15 days, I had 3 or 4 different publishers that wanted to publish this book.
Nice.
They said it was an interesting idea. I covered things around what's happening in AI, how that's affecting both marketing and specifically this area. Yeah. It is a book that makes a very relatable, very difficult sort of concept easy and digestible for your audience. And they said it sounds like a really good piece working together and everything. And it also blends in your own personal sorts. Like it opens with a quote from my father from when I was very young, and he was a New York City PR guy.
Okay.
So when I was a child, I got all these cool stories about all these famous people and all these other things. And then it closes with a quote that is usually credited to Michael Jordan about you see the basketball in the hoop before you shoot, basically.
Okay. Well, what was the opening quote? You got to say the quote.
Oh, from my father?
Yeah.
It's basically, it starts off with always look at their shoes.
There it is.
All right.
And because of that, it's about him and I being in New York City when I was a child, and I saw those shoe shine chairs that they had out in front of places back in the day.
Okay.
And I sort of asked him what those were. Because I was a young kid, and he goes, he was explaining to me what it was, but he said, the reason you always look at people's shoes and the importance of that is that people dress all different ways. But when you go into a room and you're trying to find out who's the person who's going to make the decisions, the person who's going to sign the contract, the person who's going to make that call, that's the guy usually that has the nicest pair of shoes on in the entire room. No matter what else he's wearing, his shoes are usually an impeccable piece of
That's amazing.
definition
I like
of who he
it.
is.
Have you
So
ever heard that before, Kelly?
I don't think I have, but I
Makes
think
sense,
that's pretty good advice. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to remember that now.
Yeah.
So it has that sort of flavor built into it as you read through it, where it has these quotes from different things that I've seen and done, and also and mistakes that you made, right? Like I was lucky enough to win my second AMA award this year at the Spark Awards.
All right.
But my first one was for putting somebody in an F-16 as part of a social media campaign over a decade ago.
What now?
Tell us more about that.
Say more.
So we have to go back to when I was talking about I worked with the service with service companies, and one of them was a very large one in Seattle, and we would do something called Seafair. Now, if you don't know what Seafair is basically where a bunch of former Boeing employees had jet engines, they strapped them to speedboats, and then they race them around the lake as fast as they can go.
Wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah.
And because of that, they always do something additional to that, whether they have the Blue Angels open for them or something like that.
Okay.
One year, the Blue Angels couldn't come. So they got a group called the Patriots. And they had jets, but they also had you could take a ride with them. And since we were a key sponsor, we got a free ticket to go on a jet.
It's okay. I'm okay.
Like an F-16.
I won't
right?
sign up for that. Don't sign me up for that.
But I did, and so my boss, who was in his 70s at the time, asked me if I wanted to go. But I said, why don't we turn this into a competition?
Of course.
Because I'm always in that mindset.
Yeah.
And so we created this ridiculous marketing campaign around. We had a stuffed fox that was our mascot,
Okay.
and people would take pictures. And anywhere you took a picture and used a hashtag and posted on any form of social media, you got entered into a drawing.
Oh.
So the more times you took the picture, the more entries you got.
All right.
And then at the end, we drew a name out of a bucket.
Smart.
I would put this person in a jet without any qualifications.
Oh, dear.
Luckily, the woman who won was a huge fan of jets. She had been a hostess she'd been in the industry for a number of years, so she had a good understanding and knowledge of it.
Yeah.
And so she was really excited
I'm
about
sure
it.
she signed a waiver.
Oh, yes, of course.
There's lots of waivers being signed.
Once we got to that stage, I was like, oh, we're going to have to do something in case something bad happens legally to us. But yeah, it went off without a hitch.
Nice.
They won an award for it. But yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of those that you look back on and it's like, what was I thinking?
But also came out really good.
Why not? Right?
Sometimes you have to take those chances.
Yeah.
Well said.
And take the words right out of your mouth.
Well said. Okay, so now we're an author, and now you're trying to publish this book.
Right. Sorry. So we found a publishing group, Business Expert Press, very nice group out of New York.
Yep.
And they...
Why? What was the vetting?
So the vetting was fairly simple. I got all of the contracts from all of the different publishers. There's a publisher that one of my mentors who is I would say she is the most knowledgeable person in this industry of what it is that I do on the planet.
Okay.
I had talked to them. They wanted to publish my book. I looked at what they offered me on the contract and I said, I wonder what these other people will offer me.
Correct.
Then I also did a little bit of vetting. I reached out to one of my professors from London, who had been one of my university professors, to get a different opinion. I said, here are the 3 companies that are looking to publish my book. As a professor, if you were going to teach a course and you were going to buy a book and it had to be from a certain type of publisher,
Like it.
who has the best reputation of these books? And so we had a phone call and he explained to me the pros and cons of each of them, as a professor does. He didn't give me an answer because they never do.
No answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's this.
Yeah, he's like, here's the facts. I'll just
Here's the facts.
and at the end of that conversation, combined with what was on the table from these different groups, because you get a percentage of your sales depending on who you sign with,
Right.
and you get different rates depending on how they buy it, whether it's an ebook, an audiobook, or something like that.
Sure.
And so at the end of all of those conversations, BEP had the best offer on the table with regards to they gave me the most leeway with different things that I wanted to do.
Okay.
They also had the additional materials that went along with it that I could create for it that was part of that process.
Oh, I see. Like the educational pieces.
Yeah, the educational
template, like a format type of follow thing.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 different. You had to create about 4 or 5 different additional pieces that people could download and use. Right.
Right.
Yeah, ancillary products.
Says Melissa. Okay. Okay. Very cool.
So there was that. So there was something that could be used in a classroom for other people and teaching. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but when I was the president of the AMA in Seattle, mentoring was a big part of what I wanted to do. We created a mentoring program. And so that idea of being able to do something that actually made that difference, that was really important to me. And then on top of that, the coolest thing was basically they were the only ones that would release full rights to an audiobook if I wanted to create the audiobook myself. Which...
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Which we've actually just... we've found a producer here in Charleston.
Okay.
Who is going to produce it and my wife and myself are going to do the reading on it.
I love that. I love that.
Cool.
Who is this producer and why is it not us? What are we doing here? We have microphones right now. Hello.
Not to put you on the
You got
spot.
another hour? Let's go.
Yeah, no, he's a local musician here in Charleston. He produces performs at everywhere. He farms all over.
Oh, nice.
And he's a friend of ours, and he's a really nice guy. And we went by his studio, and he has a very small little room that if I was claustrophobic, I'd be afraid of. He's got all of the little soundboards and everything.
That's
that's awesome.
Oh, that's perfect. Connect us. We always are looking for new talent and new people to talk to and collaborate with. So you got you finally have your publishers. Okay. And then now what?
Oh, now comes the grueling 12-month process that is actually taking a book from a concept. Because first you've got to not only get them to be interested in the book, you also have to write a piece that actually outlines what the book is, the chapters, what each chapter is going to be about, what you're planning on covering. and then submitting that to somebody in their organization that's a specialist that will review it to ensure that it has the correct amount of gravitas and everything else with it, that it will resonate with the audience.
Okay.
Based on what they're seeing. So that was the first sort of document I produced for them, which was a book outline, and as well as chapters, chapter names, how it would flow and everything, just to show that not only did I understand how to put a book together, but also the topics I was covering would be relevant to audience.
Sure.
Now, they came back with some thoughts of what they would like me to include that I had not included. They also had some other things. But ultimately, they said, it looks like a good project. We want to produce it.
How did you know what to give them? How did you know what they were looking for? How did you know that that was the formula that they were looking for?
So I did a little bit of research online about what other publishers and other things had done. They also gave me sort of a documentation, a PDF of, as an author, here's what you need to be looking at and be thinking about.
Like a playbook.
Yeah, they gave me a little bit of a playbook. And so I took that and I adapted it to what I'd already done.
Yeah.
Nice.
But when I started writing the book, once I decided that it was going to be something more than just a very long form manuscript, I started looking at how to move the things around to make the chapters make sense. Because it's one of those things, like things make sense to you,
right?
But they don't always make sense to everybody else in the room.
Yeah.
And so, I was trying to do that, and I was looking at it with a nice little small group of friends and colleagues that knew me, including
Smart.
Other mentors that I had. And then once I kind of had that put together, I gave it to them, and then they always also made suggestions. They said, well, maybe you should move this chapter here. Maybe you should redo this area and flesh that out some more. And they had really great ideas. Right. They brought in the idea of including AI. I mean, we're now 12, 14 months later, but when that first was brought to me, we were still in very early AI stages. So we get all of that, we go through all of that and go back and forth. And then once I have that, the next stage of that process is actually writing the first draft of that book. So write all of it, and it comes out to somewhere around about 300 pages.
Oh, dear.
And I go, okay, this is way too long. So now I've got too much material. So now I got to start cutting.
It's always better to have too much.
Yeah.
100%.
But so then we cut back and we got less and less. And then at the same time, they had their own standardized guidelines type of thing, right? MLA standards or Chicago standard, APA standards of how they want you to write the book too, because they want it to be a proper, like when you write a fictional book, you're making up your characters and everything. But this, they want to make sure that if you make a statement, it's grounded by something else somebody else has written. So I also had to spend time researching and making sure all of my things were grounded in previous research that had been done.
Sure. Yeah.
And then fast forward through that process and going back and forth, you send that in and you go back and forth they have an editors and everything. They make sure that you've done everything. You've got figures in the book, like images that I created specifically for the book. I had to send that in as a separate piece. Once all of that's approved, then it goes to the editorial team. Now I'd say you've done probably about 4 months in now.
Right.
At that 4 or 5 month stop point, then you start working with just the editing team. The editing team, and you can go back, however many times you need to get the book just right. Usually that means it goes to somebody else. They read through it. They say, we want you to make these changes. They also do some grammatical things for you, which is very important for somebody who has dyslexia like I do.
Yeah.
Grammar's a struggle sometimes. So they helped me to pull that all together, bring in all of the different pieces that needed to be done. And then we started tightening it up. We started dropping pieces that weren't there. We started moving things around. I mean, even in the last draft, I had this section with an image in it, and it just wasn't in the right place. And I had read it, and I couldn't figure out where I wanted it. And then finally it clicked. I was like, we're going to move this down.
Yeah.
Last round, they sent it back to me. Yeah, no problem. Here it is.
Nice.
You look at it, you get, once you've gotten all of that approved, then they'll send you what's called an advanced reader copy or an ARC or an ARC.
You know about this, Kelly?
I've heard about it.
Really?
I've heard about the advanced reader copies.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I haven't. Yeah, that's great.
And so what it is, it's basically, it's a document that has on it advanced reader copy, sort of in the background.
Like a pilot?
Yeah, it's like a pilot.
Like a sneak peek into when you get like, you'll have the podcasters out there, if they are reviewing like TV shows or movies, they'll get an advanced screening of something. So this is like that advanced screening, but it's a book.
Yeah. It allows you to get some reviews. It allows you to get it out there a little bit early. It also allows you to get some feedback from peers.
Sure.
Now, luckily, I was doing this all along anyway, because as you know, I'm a little bit of a nerd about things, and sometimes I make notes. And
But I want to make sure that the audience knows not just that, but you also have a day job that you're doing right now.
Oh yeah. I
like during all of this authorship journey that you're doing, you have a day job, like a 9 to 5.
Yeah. This is and I wish. Oh God, I wish it was a 9 to 5.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
The hustle is real, though.
Yeah.
Did you sleep at all during this time?
We're talking months, 6 months, almost half year. How long has the journey been now?
The journey is we are now cresting. I would say I signed about this time last year the contract, the initial contract with them.
Oh,
I did.
August.
Oh, in August.
Melissa says she's the agent.
Yeah, she's the agent. She knows the timeline.
She's the brains behind the operation. I get it. So wow. So it's been a year.
Yeah. So
almost a year.
Almost a year, and we've been through all of the different pieces to now, and then. So once you finally get it, you get the advanced reader copy, you send that out. And luckily enough, because I've been doing this with other people along the way, they've already read versions of it.
Sure, yeah.
Very supportive. One of my other mentors wrote the foreword for the book. She's another senior person in the industry.
Oh, okay.
And
do you have to have a foreword? I mean, is that something that people like?
I don't. This is my first book, so I figured, do what everybody else does.
It's fancy. Why not?
Yeah. If you can get somebody who has a name behind them, it gives you legitimacy. That's the game plan. You always want to find somebody who's more well known than you are.
Yes. Well,
to help you
I
out.
always find smarter people to hang out with. I mean, that's just
exactly
what you got to do.
Yeah. So that's great. So now, how's it going right now? You said you had some people pick it up.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So now we're at that stage where we're out hustling. We got the Foster School of Business in University of Washington, where I had done some qualitative market research with them about 2 decades ago.
These are your contacts.
Well, so they're contacts of contacts, right? They're like the head of the library. I don't know at the Foster School of Business.
Sure.
But the Foster School of Business, I can reach out to because I know another person that'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And then College of Charleston is considering very close to probably picking it up.
Nice.
And that would be a nice feather. And we had the Berkeley Library write me about 4 or 5 days ago saying that they're going to carry a copy of it.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's nice. And, it's also one of those things that you start, and then and that's only that component of it, right? There's that part that's the hustle. Then there's also the part where you have to figure out all of your finances stuff too, because they have to pay you. And so you spend, a week or so going back and forth, making sure you have the right taxes and all the IDs and everything. So that
all the tough stuff and the boring stuff.
All the boring stuff. All the stuff that
making
makes
cash isn't boring.
Yeah.
But,
taxes part is not that great.
That's amazing. So when do you feel like you're going to make it big? So I'm imagining you're at the airport and you see your book in the airport in the airport bookstore, right? Is that the goal here? Like, what's our goal?
I honestly, I didn't have a goal when I started out with it. So to have a goal now, it's really just to have somebody come up to me and say, hey, I know I read this book. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really good. We implemented it in our shop, and it's made all the difference in the world. That's the goal, right? Like I was one of those kids that when people used to ask you, what do you want to do when you get out, girl? And I was like, if I can just impress on one person to be a little bit better or try something different on the 7 billion people on the planet at the time, I was like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it. I like that. That's why you and I get along so well, I think.
What are you most proud of with this?
What am I most proud of this? I am most proud that I get the opportunity to give a little bit of a nod to my father, who was the biggest influence on me into going into marketing, into going into this field, is that, he always had a lot of belief in me. He had a belief in all of his kids, but we had a very long distance between our age. So he was already getting old by the time I was growing up. And this allows me to sort of hold that memory and share that memory, because he worked on campaigns that I'm sure you and others learned about growing up, right?
Yeah.
He worked on a secondhand smoke PR campaign. He worked on creating canola oil and making canola oil what it is.
Oh, wow.
So he had all of these things, but he never, his whole thing was like, if you're good at your job, people know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're great at your job, nobody will have ever heard of you. And that was how he sort of went through his entire career. And so being able to sort of honor that, that's probably what it's the most important thing.
That's really great.
Have we talked about enough about what the actual book is about? Right? Right. So what's the actual story behind, what is the quick takeaway for the listeners to when they read the book, like without giving away the ending?
So, yeah, an easy enough explanation about it is account-based marketing is got multiple tiers, but I really look at the lowest tier, the most personal tier. Marketing has had a lot of different things, right? Like when I was coming up, there was advertising, public relations, and marketing. There were three separate things.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's kind of one umbrella, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's sort of underneath this one area of it. And a lot of us are doing these different things, flipping different switches that people don't really understand. Like people don't understand that public relations is not just you writing press releases. It is, it's securing interviews. It's community relations. It's all of these other different things you have to do. Same with advertising and also marketing in general. And I think that we're now seeing that marketing in this age can actually create a really personalized one-to-one relationship with your audience, whether that is your C-suite, your senior level people that you really want to talk to, or if it's people who are going to be the decision makers in another 5 years. You can craft these different messages and present these messages to this audience in a way you've never been able to do before. And so what I look at is looking at that audience, figuring out how you can build on what's called the 3 R's, relationship, revenue, and reputation.
Okay.
All right. So the reputation is usually the most important bit. Like if I have a company that offers 4 or 5 different products, but you only ever buy one product from me, you're missing out on these other products that I can offer you. Mm-hmm. And so the reputation part of that is making them aware that there's these other services that you're really good at and how you can help that end user, that company, to use that. The relationship is about building long-term opportunities with that client, not so much the company, but really looking at the people and understanding who those are and actually working with them, talking to them, and building real conversations and real connections with those people. And all of those things basically lead to revenue. Now, revenue could be anything of how you look at it, right? Like we as marketers, we probably don't think much about what the sales cycle is for opening a new account or getting a new logo to actually closing and winning. Mm. This helps in many ways to cut that time by 10, 15, 20%. And if you can cut anything in that process, you can free up them to do more, to reach out more, to be more engaging with those people. Right. And just trying to make those connections, like what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Marketing doesn't need to be on the forefront. It doesn't need to get all the attention. But if you work arm in arm, if you embed yourself with those account teams and you understand what they're trying to do and you help them get that faster, that internal relationship as well will also make a massive difference on how you're both perceived and how people talk about what marketing can do as you go forward. And that's a lot of what it is. It actually really helps to drive that revenue at the end of the day.
Lovely. That's exactly what we needed to hear, I feel like. I mean, that's a good takeaway. Is there any other, I see you got a list of stuff here you want to talk about. Is there anything here on your sheet there that you wanted to talk about that we can give our listeners a little takeaway? What is your day job, Sloan? What do you do? Who do you work for? Can you talk about that? Because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I wish I could give a little bit more detail. How I can do the same thing I do in my book. I can't tell you exactly who I work for. Okay. Because of my contractual obligations. But
you're a man of mystery, Sloan. You're a man of mystery. Melissa, you got a man of mystery over here.
That's another fun thing to think about is that when you there's ways to get around things.
Yeah.
And that's another thing you have to think about when you write a book is how do you make it so that your organization will allow you to write a book?
Right.
But yeah, I work for a top five global IT technology companies on the planet, leading the way in AI, and a number of other things. But if it's one of the largest companies that you probably never heard of. Mm-hmm. But it basically it has all these different divisions. One is called Tier 1 IP Transit, which is basically you get internet to your home.
I'm like this. I'm like, no, I'm like shaking my head. Like, no, what?
Okay, so Facebook has to get all of that image and all of that stuff to you somehow.
Okay.
They buy that connectivity from the company that I work for.
Oh, okay.
Companies like that, Netflix, those types of guys that need high amounts of data to be transferred from point A to point B all over the globe.
Okay.
It's kind of a big deal.
It is an amazing organization. It does all of it. It does Edge. It does all of these things that people sort of squint and look at you funny about. But it is a phenomenal organization. It is all over the world. And
what's your role there?
I do ABM. I do what I'm doing in this book. I do account-based marketing. I've been doing it since they started the program.
Yeah.
And they trusted me to go out there and lead this charge. And it has been an amazing adventure. And I've met some very intelligent people all over the world with it, but and North America. And it's one of those things that I finally get that chance to really peek behind the curtains and really own a campaign from end to end. I'm not just standing something up and hoping it goes well and hoping it gets passed over to sales and they do something. I run a whatever platform you want, LinkedIn, demand-based, 6 Sense campaign. I get engagement. I take that engagement. I go and talk to my account team on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. I hand that off to them, and they go out and they make money. And that's all we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay. I asked the dumb questions. How long has ABM been around? And is it a new type of
in some ways it is, some ways it isn't. It is been around for around 20 years.
Yeah.
It was started by a very, very brilliant woman named Bev Burgess, who now runs a group called the Inflexion Group. She's English, very smart. I've had the chance to be her friend, so I cannot talk enough about her.
Okay.
And it is evolved. Originally, it was just about trying to sort of create messaging that was somewhat verticalized, right? So instead of you send the same message to Pepsi that you send to Ford, you need to personalize that message a little bit in the world.
Yeah.
And so it started as that idea, like you need to create a better message for a better audience, especially because you now have the ability to do it. And over the 20 years that it's been around, a lot of people have used the term intermittently with different things, and sometimes they get it wrong. And that's what I try to do in the book too. I want to try and create standardized definitions for things that we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is, if you go into Google right now and you look up strapline, tagline, and slogan, and you search each of those terms, you know what you get? The same result for each one of them. A short, punchy, memorable line that is used in marketing to help convey a message to an audience.
Yeah.
Each one of them, they're all the same. They all give you the exact same thing. And that's part of the problem with marketing. Sometimes it gets a little muddled on. So now it has all of these different tiers, right? There's something called programmatic ABM, which is like a large style messaging for a large audience. There's one to few or light ABM, which is like, it's a great audience where you're actually looking at maybe a subsect of your audience. So let's say you're looking at logistics, and then you're looking at logistics and actual moving. And then there's, the one-to-one, which is what this book is about, which strategic ABM, and that I spend a lot of time talking about. And that is where you actually are looking at 4 or 5 different companies, of which have the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your business is done by 20% of your clients.
Okay.
So you just go and you talk to those clients, you create campaigns just for those accounts.
Yeah.
And you try to build that footprint with those accounts, and you just focus on that.
That's smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I mean, I say that, I feel like the idea of ABM has been around forever, since the beginning of marketing. Everybody's trying to really focus in on one, but to really kind of put that into a system.
Define it and define what it is and purpose and process and kind of really getting behind the lens of that is super valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. To stick a flag in that too is pretty cool, Sloan. I had other thoughts too, but what Kelly, do you have anything?
So when we were meeting up on James Island, we were at the rec center.
Yeah, where
what
did you guys
were you doing
have
at the rec center?
Oh, wait. So, so you had the camera. I'm trying to set the stage here. So you were at James Island, and Sloan says, "Hey, I need you to come take my headshot." He brings you to this location.
I suggested it because he said he was going to be there.
And then you're like, "What do you do? What's your passions?"
We chatted for a bit, and I was like, "Well, what are you doing?"
Smart photographer
here?
would do, right? Get into the mindset a little bit. And Sloan does now. What does he say? He brings you to.
I bring her out to the James Island Rec Center where Edge of the World Fencing is, which is a fencing club, a local fencing club here in Charleston.
Okay.
That has classes in North Charleston, Daniel Island, James Island, and I think Mount Pleasant now. But I help out, and I'm not a coach, but I'm sort of a mentor to new and younger fencers there. And then I also am able...
New and younger fencers.
Yes.
Let's just break that down.
I didn't even know the fencing really was a
exactly
thing around Charleston.
Right. No, it's great.
I started at the College of Charleston. It was my best friends, and now I am the godfather of their children. We all met there, and it has been a lifelong sort of sport and outlet for me that keeps me moving and keeps me sharp mentally. But I get a chance to engage with people younger than me who remind me of how old I am and make fun of me for it. But they're really good. It's a couple of the kids that I work with. I'm not their coach. They have their own coach, and she's a brilliant person. But they took first, second, and third at a local event that just happened.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, no kidding. I want to go to a fencing competition. What is it called?
It's a
fence?
Yeah, a fencing competition, a fencing match.
Yeah, a match.
Yeah.
Talk about one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
It's
a different world. It'll change the way that you see things, because I was just talking to a colleague about his son who's just taken it up in Florida yesterday, and he was explaining to his son, because his son has just started to win at fencing.
Okay.
And he was talking about how hard it was, and he was saying, well, right now you're fencing your opponent's weapon. Soon it's going to click and you're going to start fencing the person. And when it does, that's when you are a fencer. And he was absolutely right. That's once you stop looking at what you're trying to do and you trying to be the best person out there, and instead looking at your opponent's weaknesses and how to take advantage of that. Again, that also works in marketing.
You took that. That was my line, Sloan. That was good. No, that's exactly right.
And once you understand that, and once you see that and you start doing that, it'll change the way you do things.
How does one get into fencing? Like, what do you got to do? You got to go fencing.com? Like what?
I think it's one of those things. You watched one too many Highlander films when you were a kid. No. For me, it was...
You just showed your age there. Just how slow.
Yeah. No, so...
And thank you for doing that.
I feel like Highlander's still kind of a thing.
Oh, you don't remember Highlander, Kelly?
There's a TV series, too.
I've seen one episode of it. I think I had to do it use it for a film project in college.
Man, right?
Yes, I think I had to do one thing in college with it.
That was awesome.
Sean Connery was in a film with it back in the day.
So listeners, Sloan has a, what is this on you have a tattoo of what is that?
Oh yeah, this is so epées and all of the weapons that you use in fencing are very boring to look at. So this is actually a weapon from an area of Germany that I used to live in Lower Saxony, and it is the sword of Christian II of Lower Saxony, and it looks very cool.
Yeah, it kind of goes from like his wrist to his elbow. Yeah, so it's pretty neat.
And it's also nice because I can turn it over and you can't really see it.
Yeah,
especially if I'm wearing long sleeves.
Party in the back.
Exactly. like
this is the front, party in the back.
Like all of my fellow South Carolinians.
You can't take the gentleman out of the South.
Exactly.
Right?
But yeah, no. So my father had attended Penn.
Okay.
And he had watched fencing there, and he was a fan of it. So when I was a kid, he would sort of fence around the house with me and stuff like that. And then I did basketball and football like any good South Carolinian would.
Okay.
But when I got to college, I needed something to help keep me grounded because if anybody who hasn't attended college at Charleston,
Oh boy,
it's a fun time,
I bet.
but sometimes it's hard to concentrate.
I can only imagine.
The beaches,
Right.
what used to be Marion Square, I don't know if it's still called that anymore, but like
Oh.
it's such a there's so many things to do that it can take your time away very quickly.
I understand that.
And so, so fencing was my grounding sort of rod that I would go to, and it became an obsession. We would go on the road. We went to nationals and did all these things.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Give me a Coke. Did you think about going to the Olympics and stuff like that? Like, how good you have to be?
there's a part of me that wanted to, of course, right?
It's an Olympic sport.
It is. It's the oldest Olympic sport in the modern era.
Oldest.
Well, it's one of the original modern Olympics activities. Yes.
Because it was like a gladiator type of situation where you had men with swords, kind of like going like the Romans did.
Like when they started the Olympics again.
Stupid joke. That didn't land very well at all, did it? Did not land.
Good try.
Kelly gave me the oddest look just now. I go, Matt's sleeping, so it's fine.
It was, well, I mean, but it was an old, like it was a gentleman's type of thing, type of sport, and it's been able to survive all the way to the modern age, and
Right.
it has had a lot of changes. It's had setbacks, but every person who gets into it at some point has that little fleeting sort of dream of becoming an Olympic fencer, because you watch a lot of the videos and all of the things to learn how to do it.
Zorro came to mind just now. Do you?
Yeah.
That's better, Zorro.
Yeah. Modern fencing, yeah.
That's better. You said. Your brain's functioning slowly.
So you have that moment. And I actually, after I graduated from college at Charleston, was the first time I left South Carolina for about 7 or 8 months. And I went to California, and I was a fencing coach out of college.
Very cool.
And blew out my knee.
Not very cool.
And then I came back. And then I did
That's a
other
hard
things.
fence. You're fencing hard if you're blowing out your knee, right?
Yeah. Well, fencing's hard on the knees anyway. Like I'm one of, there's probably like 3 or 4 of the guys that I used to fence with 20 years ago that still fence today.
Okay.
Because some of us can't bend down and get back up again.
It's really hard on the knees, huh?
Yeah.
I got to look more into it. Get the kids into
Gotta
it.
get low.
I think Jackson would love it.
Got to get low.
Any other last minute comments? Thank you for your time today, Sloan. Thank you for coming to the show. We literally have 4 minutes until Matthew kicks us out. But if there's any kind of like, I wanted to know what your tech stack is. What is your tech stack? Your favorite podcast? How can we get into that brain a little bit? Give us some details.
I mean, it's one of those things. I consume media and information nonstop, and it's not in any. There's no rational form of it whatsoever. I listen to half a dozen different podcasts.
Yeah. Name one.
Let's Talk ABM.
There we go.
Exactly this.
Hello. Do you host this?
No. It's a friend of mine out of Spain. And
you know this person? Okay.
We connected because we both have a passion for the.
Okay. Have you been on the show?
I have.
Good. Thank God. Okay.
His interview with me, actually, you know what? I'm going to back this all up. His interview with me led to an article that ended up leading into me writing this book in some ways.
There we go. Look at that.
Full circle.
Podcasting.
Podcasting all the way.
All the way. What else?
Let's see. The book is available for pre-order now on Barnes & Noble and everywhere you can find it.
Okay.
And will be available starting on the ebook side the 1st of next month, and then the 16th of May it will be on paperback.
May 16th. So right now it's April 9th. You just a little bit over a month. Got a lot of work to do, huh? What's going on here?
Yeah. There's a lot of
Nervous?
Nervous. Yeah. But at the same time, excited.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Right. I would be like refreshing the browser. Like, how many books did I sell today? How many books did I sell today? Like, you know what I mean? Like Spark Awards. I was like in Spark Awards. I was like refresh for the past week, and then finally we got like 50 coming in the last week. It's crazy. So don't stress. Yeah. Charleston is a last minute.
I was going to say, Charleston is very last minute for
events.
Yes, buying tickets or anything.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you can think of that you want to share with our audience here, Sloan?
I mean, I definitely want to say that the dedication that comes from being part of the American Marketing Association community, the dedication of the board members that give their time freely to this insane endeavor.
Yeah.
Because let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
And it is thankless most of the time. But as somebody who has seen it on both sides of that lens, I want to say that I appreciate everything the American Marketing Association does. I appreciate, we actually met the Post and Career sponsor that you guys have, the
Chase?
yes,
Yeah.
at the Spark Awards, and that type of involvement and that type of regular commitment from businesses in the community make it possible. And
Nice.
I thank you guys for welcoming me back in with open arms as I moved back to Charleston.
Well, yeah, welcome home. bud.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Sloan. That was amazing. I don't think that Matthew the Engineer slept. Our podcast just went out as far as the iPad, but it's fine too.
Low battery.
Low battery. Same here. I feel you, iPad. I feel you.
It's Thursday.
Kelly, great work. Thanks for jumping in on this
Yeah. This was
last minute
great.
episode
Loved
here with you.
Walking right into it.
You did a great job as always. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, King and Columbus. Thank you for mentioning them earlier. And the SCRA, the South Carolina Research Authority, and the Charleston Media Solutions. Appreciate your support. Kelly, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on this side.
Yeah, of course. Let's go take some
Thank
photos.
you, Sloan. Yeah.
Let's go take more photos of Sloan, shall we?
Yes.
All right, Sloan, appreciate you.
Thank you guys.